Hello there. There are two distinctive ways on how you can invest your 3 million or any other amount of money that you've saved out there. All right. Remember, this is a hard-earned amount of money that you need to be sure on what you're doing before putting it out there in form of investment. All right. This is the two approaches. Approach number one, and this is what I call the low returns but a sure way of investing. All right. This type of an investment, you find that they have low returns, but it's a sure way of investing. You find that your money is not at a higher risk compared to other type of investment. An example of this kind of an investment is what I call the mmfs. All right, the money market fund. All right, this is a credit circle where you give it the money or you lend the money to them. They take the money and invest that specific money in what we call the sure forms of investment. For example, they lend the money to the government or something of sort, and then they give you what we call the dividends at the end of the year. All right, this is a sure way of investing the money because the companies that you're investing in they play what we call a very vital scrutiny before they invest your money. All right, and number two is what we call the treasury bills or the treasury bonds. All right, these are an area that whereby you can be able to play a part in lending the government the money that they use in infrastructural development or any other activities. All right, you find this type of an investment approach, you find that yes, it has what you call the low returns, but what we call the risky as far as your money is concerned is is minimum. Right, there is no business that it doesn't have a risk. Yes, they have a risk, but what we find that the risk in this kind of a business, it has the lowest risk approaches. All right, and number two is what I call the higher returns but have what we call the relatively risky approaches or relatively risky approaches. All right, what you find is that in this kind of an investment, this falls under what we call the any conventional investment. All right, if you want to invest in any business out there, for instance, you want to invest in pharmacy or chemist, you want to invest in restaurant or meat joint, you want to invest in something like cereal shop or processing food or something of sort, it's generally the any conventional business out there. What you realize is that this kind of type of investment, you find it has what we call higher risks, but the returns are very high. For example, you cannot compare an individual who invests his or her money in what we call the treasury bonds or treasury bills with somebody who invests their money, maybe let's say in real estate or something like let's say a chemist shop or a butchery that picks up. You find that individual who has invested his or her money in any conventional businesses has a higher chances of making more money, irrespective the fact that that specific business has high risky, but he or she makes a lot of money out of it. All right, so it all depends on your appetite to risk and appetite to making money. It depends on how you approach any type of businesses. If you this kind of an individual who is cautious in their move, then you this kind of an individual who always plays a cautious kind of a move before investing your money, then I'd advise you to invest in areas that you find that it has low risky but low returns. Right, you find this kind of type of individuals are the people who invest large volume of money for a longer period of time. All right, but if this kind of an individual, the time allows you, maybe in terms of age, you're still young and you have approach, or rather you have an access of that kind of amount of money, you still have a lot of buttons to press after all right, okay? So you can go for that. But if the time is not on your side, you this kind of an individual who doesn't risk, like risky or something of sort, then it's always good to understand who is you before investing in any type of business. Because if you look or if you get to see what others are doing and get yourself into it and maybe it's not your type, you might blow up your account, or you might be in a position whereby you can even develop what you call the depression or something of sort. For example, also a business like forex trading, it has a high risk, but you find people making a lot of money out of it. It's an example of high returns but a risky business. So it's always good to have a surety of, be sure of what you are made of before investing in any business out there. But the paramount question is this: should you invest your money or should you keep your money in the bank account? I always discourage people to put their money in the bank account. If you're putting your money in a bank account in the name of saving for the sake of investing in the future, well and good, that's also good. But if you're putting just your money out there, remember one thing: there is what we call an inflation. And once there is an inflation, let's say for example, like 2 or 3 years ago, you find that you are buying a cooking oil, a liter of it at around 200 or 180 shillings. Right now is going for the double the price. So you find if you had 1,000 bob back in 2 years, what you would have bought with that 1,000 bob differs from what you can be able to buy with that specific amount of money. So there is an inflation. It's always good to catch up with the inflation. It's always good to be wise and be able to put your money in areas where the money is appreciating in value rather than depreciating. All right. So guys, if you love that kind of a content, my name is Jeff. Talk about economy, talk about development and personal finance and areas how you can invest and where and what times you do invest and that kind of a thing. So if you love that kind of a content, then call this place home, like the video, give this video a thumbs up, share the video with your friends so that they can be able to get more information, bring them on board, and also don't forget to subscribe the channel so you be the first one to be notified when I approach, or rather when I upload a new video. All right. Also, don't forget to comment down below. Tell me what you think, because I'm a believer you have something that you share or you have that you can share with me. See you in the next one. Goodbye.